This is Devon Werkheiser. You may know me as Ned Bigby from Ned's Declassified, now podcaster with Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide and Growing Up with Devon, amongst other things. And you are watching the Bois podcast.
It's the first day of school, and it can be totally frightening. But the key to surviving it is whether you're ready or not. So avoid overstuffing the backpack.
It wasn't Susie. It was me. I am Spartacus.
And welcome back to another episode of Bois Podcast. My guest today is an actor, musician, and voice actor. He's also a podcast host. You may have seen him as Ned Bigby in Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, Nolan Bird, aka Shredderman in Shredderman Rules, Peter Parks in Greek, Tyler in Two Broke Girls, and his voice is Casper in Casper's Scare School, and many more. He's also the host of Growing Up with Devon Werkheiser and co-host of Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide. So welcome the legend himself, Mr. Devon Werkheiser. Welcome, Devon.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe, and thanks for being a fan. I see your Ned Survival Guide behind you. I love it. You have your own composition book. Yeah, it's good to be here, man.
Thank you. It's an honor having you on, Devon. You know, like you've done so many cool and amazing roles. Like you're very talented. You know.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still going. We haven't even seen the start, man. I'm gonna have a lot more to come.
I like that. Okay, so Devon, what have you been up to? How you doing? How's Devon doing?
Man, I've been great. It's been a long and weird road, growing up and transitioning from child actor to adult human. It's been a long and winding road. However, the last X amount of months have been really good, and I have these two podcasts now that keep me busy and give me something to like put my energy into and focus on. And so far the response has been amazing. And I'm just gonna really work this year to be consistent with those and grow them and build them. And man, life's good. I feel all right.
That's dope. I have you know I'm subscribed, by the way, to Growing Up with
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, we have a ton of great guests coming up on Growing Up with Devon. And then the Ned's Pod. I mean, at the time we're recording this, the Ned's Pod releases the first episode next week, and I am so excited, man. I'm so excited for people to relive Ned's with us.
That's so awesome. I'm just putting this out there. If you ever need help editing either of the pods, help you out. You know,
cool.
I love editing.
Thank you. We got some strong teams on both of those, but I will let you know.
I got you. Help you out. You know, it's always cool to help put one another out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Got you. Now, what made you want to become an actor and musician? And what would you say is your biggest inspiration for acting and music?
Well, so acting started so long ago for me that it's been an evolving journey of inspiration and recommitting to it over the years. But it all started when I was a wee child. It started with Ace Ventura, and it started with Austin Powers. Like, for real, that's what made me want to act. I know plenty of actors have like, you know, really like deep theater, or like they were inspired by, you know, Shakespeare or Lawrence of Arabia. No, for me, it was Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura, and it was Mike Myers and Austin Powers. As a kid, I saw those movies and I just thought they were so hilarious and fun. And I would do the voices and kind of repeat the lines, like even at a young age. And at the time I had like a photographic memory. I could just remember everything from a movie if I saw it once. And so my parents were just like, that's like a skill. Like, do you want to do community theater? And I was like, yeah. And just, it kind of snowballed into going to LA and booking Ned's. So yeah, really it started with a love of comedy and making people laugh, and like a love of getting attention, to be honest. And over the years, like now I love all aspects of acting. I really do love drama, and I love the craft, and I love theater. I love that side of things. But I obviously have a natural tendency towards like stuff that makes me laugh and like being a goof. So that's still in me. The Ned Bigby of it all is still a very big part of my acting life.
That's really cool. Like, so if I interviewed Jim Carrey or Mike Myers, you'd just go crazy.
I'd lose my mind. Yeah, like yeah, if I could ever get them on, if my podcast could become big enough to get like Jim Carrey or Mike Myers and just to sit down and talk with them, like yeah, those are acting and comedic idols of mine. So I would lose my mind to watch them on your show or have them on mine.
Okay, if I ever get them, hear me out. If I get them, I'll put in a good word for you, okay, Devon?
Please
Okay.
do. Please. And let me know where to watch.
I got you. Yeah, because believe it or not, yesterday I recorded with a comedy legend, Kevin Nealon. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I love Kevin Nealon.
I actually interviewed him yesterday.
That's amazing, man. I'm a big fan. He's hilarious.
He was telling me a lot of cool, funny Adam Sandler stories because he was Adam Sandler movies too.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, he's been around a long time. He's a very funny man.
You actually worked, Don, if you know, you actually worked with the project with him, Glenn, Martin, and DDS, because you actually did an episode. Did you know that?
That's true. I don't. And that one I actually did meet. I can't remember. Maybe I met him that day. That was so long ago, and I only did like the one.
Yeah.
I might have met him that day because they actually recorded like the cast all. I think I did meet him that day. They actually recorded the cast all together. Whereas like Casper Scare School, I did all my lines in isolation. So I never met anyone else who was on it. I just recorded my side of things. And I think that's how they do voiceover some of the time. But Glenn Martin, I think we all recorded together, and I might have met him that day.
Wow. See, I remember your roles, Devon, because you're like, you done so many cool roles. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah, I think Christy Carlson Romano was part of Casper Scare School, and we never met. And now we know each other. But yeah, I think she was in that as well.
She was. You got that right. That was a good cast. Jim Belushi was in there.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, it's a cool cast, man. I love when I get the chance to do voiceover. It's so fun.
Yeah, the late great Bob Saget. He was in there
right.
Too.
That's right, man. That's right.
See, I know my stuff, Devon. Like, if you quiz me, like,
you really do. It's good because some of it all blurs together for me. It's been 20 years, so all of it kind of is a blur. Especially the things that are like, I do one episode and then it's over, or like Casper Scare School was like we recorded for a week and then it was over. So those really kind of I lose track of those. But the things that kind of go on longer are easier for me to be like, oh yeah, I did that.
Like Ned's, for example.
Ned's is forever.
Yeah.
Ned will be with me forever, which is kind of where the podcast came from, was like the fans of Ned's, you included, it holds such a special place in the fans' hearts and like lives. That no matter what I do, Ned's is still so important to so many people. And that's kind of where the Rewatch podcast came out of, was like, well, so far we're not doing a reboot. Like, let's all get together and like reminisce and kind of do it together and for the fans and see what we can create. And man, the response so far has been so cool. I am very grateful to be doing it.
And who knows, maybe the podcast will actually inspire people like, hey, they might come back, you know?
I could see a path where that happens. At this moment, I don't even know that I want to do a reboot. The podcast is so like good and cool and like independent, like, but we'll see. I'll cross the bridges when I get to them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Breaking news. When the podcast comes out, breaking news. That's the cast.
Yeah. Adult survival guide too. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, what's your favorite acting role you portrayed?
What's my favorite? What? Acting
role? Like your favorite role you portrayed, your favorite.
That's a great question. I mean, look, Ned is one of them, but let's put that one aside because that was like the original, right? That was my second pilot season in LA. It's such a special time. That one's obviously up there for me. Another favorite of mine in terms of acting was I did this independent film called Crown Vic. That's like a gritty cop, like crooked cop film. And I have one scene in it. That's kind of how the movie goes, is there's the two main cops and then a bunch of these vignettes, a bunch of these like big crazy interactions that they get into one night. And so I have this one scene in the movie, but it's really intense. It's 5 minutes long. I'm being interrogated and humiliated on the side of the road. And I'm playing like this crazy drug addict guy. And that's one of my favorite roles I've worked on because it's the hardest role I've ever worked on in terms of acting. It's the furthest from myself I've ever played. And as an actor, that's really fun. I don't get the chance to do that a lot. And it was really hard work for me to get there and try and bring this character to life. I'd give myself a B plus on it, maybe a B. Like there's more that I would have liked to have done with it, but I think I got to a decent place with it. And it was just really fun for me to work on something so different from who I am and so gritty and edgy. And I got the scene is opposite Thomas Jane, who I just think is a great actor and really intense and cool guy. So that was a really fun one for me. So that's one of my favorite experiences I've had in film so far.
Now, speaking of, like, to tie along with that question, can you do like the Ned Bigby quote? You probably do know what quote I'm talking about.
The intro?
Do you know it by heart?
It is in my head forever. Yeah, hold on. Yes, it's in my head forever. Even though until the Rewatch podcast, I hadn't seen an episode in 15 years. Like I don't watch Netflix. So the Rewatch podcast is us revisiting. Even though I don't watch it, that intro is in my brain forever. In a middle school full of bullies, insane teachers, and gross school lunches, Ned Bigby, that's me and my two best friends, try to do the impossible, create a guide that can help you survive school. Coming up. And then the song kicks in. It's still in my head forever, Joe. I can't ever escape it.
That is just
crazy, right? Thank you, sir.
That is really cool. Like how you just memorize it. Like personally, I would not be able to memorize that part. So I don't know.
I don't know how memory works because I forgot what I did yesterday. But that introduction it's seared into my brain forever. I don't know how long-term, short-term memory works, but there's something about it, man.
Even the theme song is catchy though. Come on, you got my theme song.
Yeah, that's still in my head as well, for sure.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you walk me through the audition process? How did you get the roles of Ned Bigby and Shredder Man? Can you walk me?
Yeah, well, Shredder Man, that one's easy. Shredder Man came after Ned. So Shredder Man was like a direct offer from Nickelodeon. It was like, hey, we're doing this movie. Do you want to do this movie? And I'm glad I did it. However, in hindsight, I was supposed to go to Alaska that year with a summer camp and trek through Alaska, and I didn't for Shredder Man. And in hindsight, I wish I went to Alaska just because now I've never been to Alaska and I've done movies since Shredder Man. And I wish I would have taken the opportunity to go to Alaska because that would have been a very unique experience. Okay, but that was a direct offer. Ned's was a classic audition, man. For every role, there are rounds of auditions. So there's the first call, which is the broadest. That's where there's the most people. That's with the casting director. And then the casting director picks their favorites along with maybe some tapes that producers saw. And then you go to the next round, which is with the casting director and the producers. And then from that call, they pick their very favorites to go to the next call, which is more like a chemistry read with now not just the producers, but the studio executives and the producers. Because basically when they're casting, everyone has to be on board. Everyone has to approve the casting choices, not the studio executives, the producer, the creator, the director. Like it all has to like work. So they go through these rounds. So there would be a normal call that I went on, and then a call where I got to meet Scott Fellows, an audition where I got to meet Scott Fellows. And then a kind of final test chemistry call where I read with various Moses. And at the time, the character was called Boogie, not Cookie. So for the pilot, it was Boogie. And so basically they had like a couple options for each character, and then they would mix and match us in different ways and just try and find the chemistry, right? From what I remember, I think they already picked Lindsay. I think they picked Lindsay first. I think they already had her, and then they were alternating versions of Ned and Boogie. And so then We filmed the pilot of Ned's, which is the first episode that no one is ever supposed to see. How shows work, right, is they make a pilot, and the pilot is to show to the studio to try and see if the studio will pick it up. So we shot a pilot, and when you shoot a pilot, you're then waiting for maybe a year to find out if your pilot is going to go to series. So we shot the pilot, and then we were waiting and waiting and waiting, you know, to find out, are we going to go to series? Are we going to have a show? And we got the bittersweet phone call that told us the show is going to go to series, but you have to come in one more time and audition because they're going to replace one of the lead cast members with a new cast member who isn't white.
Wow.
This is the correct choice by the network, which is we have 3 white leads. That's not representative of life. Like, let's have someone be not white, right? I think it's absolutely the correct move by the studio. However, getting that call that our show was getting picked up and we had to re-audition was horrifying. So yeah, I had to go re-audition for my character. Like, I'm like, no, I'm Ned. Like, what do you mean I have to re-audition? So that was really nerve-wracking. So Lindsay, me, and Steven, who originally played Boogie, we all went in to re-audition. And that was like that final call scenario. That was where they had like, I think they had an alternate for each of our characters. So it was like me, Lindsay, and Steven. And then there was maybe like 2 Neds, 2 Cookies, and 2 Moses. And that's where I met Daniel Curtis Lee for the first time, who ended up being the recast character, which I'm actually grateful for because Daniel's one of my best friends in the world and it all worked out. Carlos Pena was who auditioned for Ned's. He was going to be Ned. He was one of the options for Ned. But it ended up going Lindsay, me, and Daniel, and Steven got replaced as Boogie, and it became Cookie. And the rest is history, man.
Wow, I never knew that now. Wow,
I know. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was a crazy time.
I besides Dead's, I really like Daniel and Zeke and Luther.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, dude. He's the man. Daniel's the best. Getting to like be with him on the podcast again and like spend time together, I love it. It's a blast.
We live in the memories, you know.
Exactly.
Wow. Now, favorite Ned's Declassified character besides Ned, and favorite
Coconut Head. Duh.
Coconut.
Yeah, man. Like, all right, Rob Pinkston, who played Coconut Head, he was the funniest person on set. I mean, we had a lot of funny people on set, but Rob Pinkston was like the funniest dude on set. And I knew that from memory, and I knew how much Coconut Head made us laugh and how much Rob made us laugh. But like I said, I hadn't watched the show in a very long time before the podcast. So in rewatching, Coconut Head he makes me laugh every single scene he's in. Like, such a funny, small, but important character on Ned. So Coconut Head's my favorite character. Close second and thirds are Gordy and Mr. Monroe.
Ooh.
Yeah, they both make me laugh really hard when I'm rewatching.
Because while I'm talking about the favorites, I was just asking you favorite episode and then any cool behind the scenes stories.
Yeah. There's a lot of favorite episodes, but a memorable one was the last episode, which was the field trip. Because it was our first time shooting on location, like shooting out of our studio. We went and shot in that rose garden, and so it was just like an exciting episode because we knew it was the series finale. We were on location. It's the big Ned and Mose getting together. Like, me as the wild boy. There was just a lot of craziness happening. And it was just a really memorable, special episode to film. So that's kind of up there in terms of favorites. But going through the rewatch pod, like, man, there's a lot of funny ones in there. But memorable behind the scenes stories. I mean, I've talked about it before on various things, but like the best behind the scenes stories are just that, like, the cast, we were all very close friends. We were really close friends. We were children living a dream on a television show that was so funny and so like big and broad and slapstick that we were always doing crazy fun things. But we were working 5 days a week. And so the time that we got at lunch, which was either a half hour or an hour, we would eat our lunch in like 2.5 minutes so that we could use all of lunch to go play. So throughout the seasons, it was different forms of play. We would do tag a lot. We just run around the halls, tag. Like we got in trouble a lot because we'd like knock stuff over, and we were just maniacs. We were just children, like running around the sets at full speed. So it was tag a lot. We played dodgeball for a time, and then one of the actresses got hit in the face too hard with a dodgeball, and they told us we couldn't play anymore.
Oh my God.
We played football outside for a while, and then I fell and tore my costume, and so they wouldn't let us play that anymore. We would play foosball for a while. We'd play Halo 2. But just like lunch was our time, man. And that's kind of the most memorable, like, that's some of the most memorable parts of Ned's for me, was like all of us as a cast playing together.
Wow, that is just now. Not gonna lie, now I rewatch Ned's myself. I'm gonna rewatch it. It's gonna feel weird, you know. I'm like, oh my God, that's Devon. Like,
yeah, man, yeah.
like wow. Now,
I love it.
Would you be willing to come back and portray Ned Bigby again if they asked you? They asked.
The answer is I don't know, and I will cross that bridge if and when it comes. There was a lot of my life after Ned's where the answer was just no, not because I don't love Ned's, but because I've done Ned's. We did it. Like I don't need to bring it back. There was a time in my life where that was clear. Then there was a time in my life, there was a few years there where I was like, we should absolutely bring it back. We should do a Ned survival guide for post-college, for the real world, adulthood, entering your young adulthood when life hits you the hardest. It would be so fun to make a show that helps people through that time in their life, right? So there was a couple years there where I really wanted to do that. We pitched it, Scott Fellows and I, to the studio, and they passed on it for now. There's a chance that it comes back. At this point, I don't want to do it. At this point, I'm down to relive Ned's on the podcast, but not actually bring the character back, because at a certain point in my life, I'd like to be doing other memorable characters and things. And I feel like if I bring Ned back as an adult, I might be stuck there forever more than I already am. So that's a fear of mine. But if it came to it, if an offer actually came through, like, of course I'd consider it. So at this point, it's like 50-50. I don't know.
Because if they did like a reunion movie, like, you know, like Zoe 101's coming back, the Zoe 102,
yeah.
so movie type of thing.
Yeah, if we did a movie, that would be more enticing because it's less committal, right? It's less like a series is a long couple-year commitment. Hold on, let me shut my window. Someone's doing some landscaping.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, so a movie would be easier to consider, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens this next year.
Is there a certain type of role you would love to do that you have done, like a Western, sci-fi, like a certain type?
There are so many roles I would like to do and have not gotten to do. I love acting so much, and I love film and TV so much. And it's all interesting to me. I have gotten the chance to work on a Western that isn't out yet, and that was a dream come true. Like just to work in that genre as an actor, for all of us on it. I mean, I was there with like seasoned, 40-year-old plus actors, and we were all like I feel like a boy. Like, this is so fun. We're wearing, period piece costumes, and we're riding horses, and we're in a Western town. Like, so that was definitely a dream come true. And I would like to do more Westerns because it's just such a fun genre to work in. Sci-fi, I love. The Expanse is one of my favorite shows. Like,
oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I love that show. So I would love to be on something that has such a cool universe and world like that. So for sure, sci-fi. What else would be amazing? I mean, there's so much I'd like to be a part of and do. I don't know. I recently like some favorite movies of mine from last year were like The Menu and Triangle of Sadness. So there's like indie movies like that I would love to be a part of. Um, just anything that has good storytelling, good creators, good ensemble characters that give me like even comedy or drama, but give me like some good stuff and people to work on, work with. So yeah, there's a lot I'm ready to do.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah,
Now,
we'll see where I end up.
sorry. Do you still keep in touch with people you work with over the years of your career? Like, you still keep in touch with co-stars, directors?
Yeah, so you meet a lot of people acting, so you can't keep in touch with all of them, but yeah, I mean the Ned's people, there's a good amount that I still stay in touch with. I did a movie, what did it end up being called? It ended up being called California Scheming. It's not a great movie, but I did this indie movie, and Gia Montaigne and my friend Spencer Daniels, like we worked together on that. And those are two people who are still like best friends of mine in this life. Sean Marquette, who I did a spring break movie in Mexico called Sundown with, he's still one of my very close friends. And yeah, I love my community of people I've worked with. To be honest, I stay in touch with a lot of people. Yeah.
That is awesome. Like, that's cool. Like, even with the Ned's Declassified people, like, I'm assuming probably like the two main people, Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay and Daniel. That's who I stay the closest with. But like Bully Loomer, Kyle Swan, he lives a really cool life, and I'm still friends with him. Rob Pinkston, Coconut Head, Missy Meany, Carly Casey is still one of my best friends. So yeah, there's a whole like crew of us that are still in touch.
Do you still keep in touch with Gordy, Darren Norris?
I have not seen him in so long, but we're gonna try and get him on the Ned's pod, so I'll see him soon.
Yo, that's sick. I'm sorry, that's sick. That's awesome.
It is. He was such an amazing human to work with. That I can't wait to see him again. It's been a long time, but man, I love that guy.
Who you say is the coolest person that you have worked with? Who's the coolest? That's why I'm laughing.
I worked with so many cool people, man. That's pretty tough. I mean, at the top of the list, Method Man is one of the coolest people on the planet. He's one of the greatest rappers in the world still, and working with him, he's just as cool of an actor and person. Like, so actual cool factor, it's Method Man is like the coolest person I've worked with. Jensen Ackles was really great to work with. Just such a handsome, cool, he's just great, man. I get why everybody loves him.
He's a badass.
Witty, and he's charismatic, and he's fun to be around, and I like him a lot. So Jensen was great.
Is he a badass?
He is like, to be honest, yeah, man. He's badass. He's just a cool son of a bitch. He's so handsome. It's a little upsetting. So yeah, Jensen was great. Method Man was super cool. King Batch is awesome, man. Andrew Batchelor, like, I still see him and get to work with him. We did a movie called Where's the Money together, the same one as Method Man. And like, he's just so cool, man. But I've worked with a lot of great people, to be honest.
Wow. He's actually, believe it or not, but he's actually friends with me on PlayStation because I play video games. He's actually one of my friends on PlayStation.
Nice.
So yeah, cause I'm a video game nerd. So
yeah, no, dude, I used to be a huge gamer nerd. Now I just limit my time to it, but I still play. I recently finished God of War Ragnarok, which was so epic. I love those games. They are so beautifully made. And Ghost of Tsushima was probably my favorite game in the last few years. And then I still get down on FIFA. FIFA is my favorite sports game, and I still am addicted to that.
What do you play on, if I'm asking?
What's that? PlayStation. Yeah.
See, that's why you're cool. That's why you're cool, Devon. That's why you're cool, bro.
But I don't have a PS5 yet. I still am on the PS4.
I'm on the PS4 too, though.
Yeah, dude, I haven't upgraded yet. But Halo used to be my absolute favorite game growing up. All of them. Like, I was an Xbox guy until the 360 was the end of my Xbox run, and then I got a PS4. And I switched over to the dark side, and honestly, I haven't looked back. But Halo was like that. I had the original Halo on the original Xbox when it came out in like 2001, and I remember playing that first game and it like blowing my mind. So actually this year I'm gonna shoot a Halo fan film with a friend of mine. We're gonna make an ODST like short film. I can't wait. We're gonna shoot that in a couple weeks.
So Halo's the shit for you.
Halo is the shit. Like in terms of like the pinnacle of gaming, Halo's up there for me. Of just like the greatest games ever made.
Did you ever play the Assassin's Creed franchise before?
So I started playing Ghost of Tsushima, and then a friend of mine told me you got to play Assassins because I went like 10 years without gaming, and so I missed a lot of the epic games. And so I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and a friend was like, you got to see Assassin's Creed. Like, it's what Ghost of Tsushima, like, basically pulled from. And the problem is I did end up playing some of Assassin's Creed, and it's great. Like, I get it. Super fun, really beautiful games, great, like, skill building, whatever. The problem is Ghost of Tsushima did everything Assassin's Creed did and just made it, like, poetic and beautiful. Mm-hmm. So when I played Assassin's Creed, I was like, I get it, but I like Ghost of Tsushima more. They made such a beautiful game. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played both actually.
Ghost of Tsushima, yeah. Ghost of Tsushima for me, they just made it like literally poetic, like it's beautiful. You literally write haiku in it. You write poems in it. They made and then the gameplay was so fluid compared to Assassin's Creed. So I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I can't wait for the second one.
Because the only reason I asked about Assassin's Creed because Ezio, the main character, I actually interviewed the voice actor. He's also voice actor as Sonic from the video games too.
Oh, dope! That's dope.
Hey, if you want some voice actors on your show, I can help you out too.
Okay, I'll let you know.
I got you. Now, what director taught you the most? Is there one you would love to work with that you haven't worked with yet, but you would love to work with?
I mean, there's a million directors I would love to work with, but who taught me the most? Well, not necessarily taught me the most, but the director, at least at this point in my life, who has given me the most is Joel Souza, is the director who directed Crown Vic that I talked about. I did a movie with him before called Break Night, and then Rust is the movie we're gonna finish. And so I've now worked with him on 3 films, and he's just given me the most interesting roles. He's given me the most trust as an actor. He's given me the most like runway to do character stuff and just like try things and do difficult roles. And so I love him forever, and I'm so grateful to him because over the last however many years, I've acted less than I've acted in my entire life. But in those years, the most interesting and cool shit I've gotten to do is with him. So yeah, he's given me the most as an actor at this point in my career. That's
dope. Now, if you were an actor or musician, what do you think your career would have been, and what other interests and hobbies besides those two?
Dude, I'm an artist through and through. It's a part of my soul. So there's nothing else. Anything else I would do would have to be creative. I could do most things pretty well. I'm pretty adaptable. I have good work ethic. I've dabbled in other jobs to pay rent. Like, I could do anything, but I have to create and express. So if it wasn't acting and making music, I'd be in some form of the industry elsewhere, or just I'd have to be in the arts somewhere. That, or like on a farm or something. Like that, or living a really simple life where I do manual labor in nature.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Now, for the like things you work on, like what inspired growing up with Devon and Ned's Declassified podcast?
Well, Ned's is an obvious one. Is they passed on a reboot. There is a worldwide audience who loves this show, and we just wanted to make something for them. And we couldn't do a reboot, so a rewatch podcast made all the sense in the world. It's just like, there's just this audience just like waiting for us to do something. And I agree. I'm like, yeah, what are we doing? So that one was a no-brainer. Growing up came from, I know a lot of really interesting people in my life, and I am a conversationalist by nature. Like when I get together with my friends, we talk for hours. That's what we do. We converse, we talk, and we talk about a lot of different things. And it goes from funny to meaningful and back, you know? And so I've known that like if I could just get the right producers to help me, I've just had the intuition that like I'd love to make a podcast. I think I'd be good at conversing with people and having it be interesting for others to be a part of. And so that I finally met the right people, my producers at Onami. I finally met the right people to help me produce it. And so far, man, I love doing it. I'm loving catching up with people that I know, but getting the chance to have this intimate but public conversation. It's just been great. I've gotten to connect with a lot of really cool people, and I'm very excited to see where it grows.
Yeah, you're an amazing host. Personally, in my opinion, you're an amazing host.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Thanks.
Now,
yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
A favorite band or artist and type of music?
Radiohead is my favorite band, and type of music, I don't know. Music's like so broad now, and the way we consume it is so different. Like I'm a Spotify guy, so I get algorithm music, right? Like Spotify just serves me up what it knows I will like, and whether I know the name of the band or not, they're right. Like it serves me up the vibes that I like. So I like a ton of music. A lot of it's world music. I love music from Africa and like Latin America. But I don't know. I love electronic. I love indie. I love folk. Like I really listen to a lot of music and really cross the spectrums there. But if I have to put a name on it, it's Radiohead is my favorite band, hands down.
Radiohead. Okay. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Do you like sports? Favorite sports and teams? Like sports at all?
Yes, sir. Favorite sports team is the Philadelphia Eagles, who are playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday.
I have an Eagles helmet actually right behind her.
Hey.
It's a signed Randall Cunningham helmet.
Nice. Oh, that's epic. Yeah, my dad was born in Philly, and all my family is like Philly and Scranton. And so even though I've never lived in Pennsylvania, I was raised on Philadelphia sports. And except for LA Lakers, I'm a Laker. The only Philly sports I'm not a part of are the Sixers. I'm a Lakers fan, and then a Philly sports fan across the board. And the Eagles, football's always been my favorite, and the Eagles are it for me. And they're back in the Super Bowl, and I'm very happy about it.
Fly Eagles fly.
That's right, man. Go Birds.
Nice. I could show you if I wanted. It's up to you. I could like really quick put like. Hold on. I got you. Give me 1 second. I'll be really quick.
That's so cool, man.
Okay, so if you can see.
Hey, I do. So are you an Eagles fan, or you just happen to meet Randall Cunningham or get that?
Okay, so I'm an Eagles fan, and believe it or not, I added this to you. Give me 1 second, Devon. Yeah. I'm an Eagles fan, and believe it or not, one of my guests, he's a YouTuber, like a Madden YouTuber, you know the game Madden?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he actually sent me like a signed helmet he got from like Pristine Auction, if you know what Pristine Auction is.
Yeah.
He actually had a Randall Cunningham. He's like, Joe, I know how much you're an Eagles fan you are. I'm like, well, yeah. Like, can I send this to you? I'm like, oh my God, like what?
Awesome. That's legendary. I mean, Randall Cunningham is the OG Eagles QB.
Yes, sir.
Now we have Jalen Hurts, who is just a leader.
Yeah.
I love him. He is a young leader, man. His entire story is like overcoming adversity with grace and just kicking ass. I'm such a fan of his, so I'm so glad the Eagles have him. I'm pumped, man.
He should have won MVP though. I wanted him to win MVP. Like, damn, Mahomes. Sorry.
I think if he didn't get hurt those last 2 games, he would have.
So if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt, sorry.
Yeah. I think if he didn't miss those 2 games being hurt, like he would have put up other numbers, and I think he would have had it hands down.
So if he didn't get hurt, though, get it like his last name. Sorry.
Oh, I get it. I see what you said.
Sorry, trying to be funny. Now, what is your favorite food? What's your favorite food, Evan? You got?
Man, I was vegetarian for 10 years. However, the last 2 years I've been eating meat again, and it's either steak or buffalo wings.
Ooh, Steak or buffalo. So if when I meet you in person, I don't know, whenever you come up here in Chicago, so I'm in Chicago, or if I were coming to LA, I'd be like, hey, you want some steak and buffalo?
Steak and buffalo wings. That'll do it.
I got you.
Also sushi or Thai food. I don't know. I love food, man. Food's the best.
Food is food.
Food's food.
Now, are there any projects you have in the works? Anything come up in the works for Devon?
Yeah, I mean the podcasts, and then this Halo short that's going to be called Hell Jumpers. This ODST short I'm really excited about. We're finishing Rust, so that'll come out at a certain point, and I'll make some new music at this year at some point. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'll have a new batch of songs out at some point.
I'll check out the music too. Help you out too.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what advice would you give younger people who want to become an actor and a musician? What is your advice, Devon? What advice you got?
It's a good question. Let me think about it. Here's the deal. If you want to do it because you want to be validated and you want to be famous, don't do it, because it's too painful and too difficult, and that's not a good enough reason. But if you just have it in you, if you just feel that call, like, I want to be an artist, I want to do this, then go for it. Be bold, especially in your young life, because you have time to pursue it, explore it, and if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, you have enough time to like pivot. But if it's something that if you never try it, you're gonna regret, if it's something that if you never actually go for it a little bit, you're gonna think about it for the rest of your life, then you might as well like take some swings at it, like go for it. But I will say it's incredibly difficult. But you got to separate acting and music. You got to separate any art into the two things. There is the art of it and there is the industry of it. Art of it is incredible and fulfilling no matter what happens. You can pursue and should pursue the craft of both of them. The craft of acting isn't going anywhere. It is amazing and fulfilling to work on. The craft of music isn't going anywhere. It is amazing and fulfilling to work on. Now, the industry side of it will never be easy. It doesn't owe you anything. Everyone's path breaking into it is seemingly impossible. I don't know how anyone does it. The industry of it is really difficult and confusing and weird and hard to get into. But the craft of it is available to you at any time. So if that's on your soul, if that's on your heart, fucking go for it. But you're just going to have to figure it out. You're just going to have to improvise. You're just going to have to start wherever you are. Start somewhere, right? We all have phones. We can all start making things on our phones. Like we all have these cameras. You just got to get into it and just get into the messiness of trying to make whatever your vision for it is happen. And it's not linear. It doesn't go in a straight line. It never owes you anything. So it's just going to be a lifelong process of going for it. And yeah, it's really difficult, but it's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So go for it.
Is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? Like a couple links down below in the videos.
Just my pods, man. If you want to hear more about Neds or me, or just the transition from adolescence to adulthood with great guests, if you're looking for a little entertainment and or like meaning and inspiration and or nostalgia, Ned's Declassified Podcast Survival Guide and Growing Up with Devon. New episodes every Tuesday and Wednesday. So Ned's is every Wednesday, Growing Up's every Tuesday, and check them out, guys.
Also follow Devon on social media.
Yes, follow me on all the things.
Got you. Cool. You're saying?
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, Joe. You have a great mother who tracked me down to get me to be on this, and I really love and respect her because I think my mom would do a similar thing, and it's really good to have a mom in your corner who has your back like that. So good on Donna for bringing me on here, and really, dude, it's nice talking to you. You're a good dude, Joe.
Thank you. She's my number one supporter, my mom. I always like.
Yes. I think my mom is mine as well. So I know that feeling. And honestly, it's a great thing. That is a superpower in your corner.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and Devon, for being an awesome, amazing guest. I had a fun time chatting with you. Thank you, Devon.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Devon.
Stay awesome. Bye.